Alright, what's up YouTube? I'm KitKat and this is Waluigi in Twilight Princess HD. Here's a list of new things I added to the mod since I released back in December 31st. Custom icons. Yes, that's right, I finally decided to try to render the models using Blender and make the outline for custom icons for Twilight Princess HD. I guess shoutouts to Skylar for making the outline tutorial a long time ago. I also used a tutorial that he made as a reference for my Ike mods icons as well. But it's pretty cool, and I think they end up pretty nicely. I wonder what you guys' opinion on them are. But anyways, let's move on to the next thing. New Master Sword replacement. So as you probably noticed at the beginning of this video and in the icons section, I replaced the Master Sword with a baseball bat from Mario Superstar Baseball, I feel like obviously the baseball bat fits better as a replacement for the Master Sword than the flowers I added when I released the mod back in December 31st of last year. And you guys tell me what your opinion about that is. But personally, I think it's a better replacement overall. If you guys want me to port the flower to the HD version of the game, I can do that. But yeah, just leave your thoughts in the comments below. Anyways, next item. Eye updates. Alright, so for this one, if you guys played the GameCube version of the mod, you probably noticed how the eyes for Waluigi looked red for some reason whenever the camera was far away from Waluigi, or most of the time when the camera was far away from Waluigi. I still am not sure what causes that. I thought it was a Blender 3.x issue, but like 3.0 or above. But I tried importing it into the GameCube version with Blender 2.9 and it still had the same issue. So I might be able to figure it out in the future or not. But the thing I'm trying to get to here is that in the HD version, when I add in 12 HD, it's the eye issue isn't there, so it's amazing, in my opinion. And then another thing is that I also added Waluigi can now finally close his eyes, because another thing that you guys might have noticed if you played the GameCube version, Waluigi can't close his eyes, like his eyes are always open. So yeah, now we can finally close them. I add some textures for that. Anyways, next item. Custom text. So I made some custom text for when you acquire the tennis racket, as well as for when you pause the game or when you go to the collection menu or whatever it's called, and you go to the items, like when you go to the Waluigi's clothes, it has custom text for the tennis racket, custom text, and also I also added the text for baseball bat in replacing the Master Sword. Get item models. I also replaced the various models of the swords before the non-gameplay version of the swords. So for example, for the tennis racket, the version before you acquire it, like the get item model of it, I replaced that, and I also replaced the model when you first enter the house before you interact with it. And I did the same thing with the Master Sword, as you might have noticed from the beginning of the video. More custom sound effects. So I replaced more of Link's audio files with Waluigi sounds, and listen to them.
Waluigi lose! Impossible!
Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to replace the files in 12 HD with these custom files to place Waluigi and Waluigi sound, etc. So before we get started, you should back up your original unmodified files of 12.60 that you're going to replace in case anything goes wrong. So if you don't already have backed up somewhere else on your PC, make sure to do that in case anything goes wrong. So when you download the mod, you'll notice there's a readme.txt file, and when you open it, it mentions a tool called File Size Optimizer. So on 12.60 there's a thing called File Size List.txt and Decompressed Size List.txt, and both of these files, what they do basically is they check almost every file, if not every file, inside of the content folder of the game, and they check the size of those files. And it seems basically if the size of those files isn't the same as what file size list.txt says they are, then the game crashes. Like the game just makes itself crash intentionally, I guess. So I made this tool called File Size Optimizer, which basically adjusts the file size values inside file size list.txt and decompressed size list.txt in order to be the same as what the custom files would be. So let me show you how. Let me show you how the tool works. So first, to place the file size place the file size optimizer.exe in the folder before the content folder, the folder that has code, content, and meta folders in it. So if you're only planning on using my Waluigi mod and not any other mod for 12.60, then just input 0 and press enter, and then it should adjust. And then once it finishes, it should adjust all the file size of all the files properly. However, if you're planning on using a mod that has modified files inside of the stage folder, then press 1 and then press enter, and then it will show you, and then it will ask you which folder inside of the stage folder would you like to update the files of it. So you can choose the folder, the map folder that you want to replace its files, that you want to optimize the file size of. So for example, there's d_mn01 folder, which is a map, or there's fsp104, which is, or there's f_sp104, which is I believe Order Spring. And by the way, you should note that File Size Optimizer tool only adjusts the file size for files that already exist in the game. So it can be a modified version of files that already exist in the game, but it doesn't. But let's say you add like entirely new custom map, like one that doesn't replace a pre-existing custom map, one that has, like, you literally add a new custom map without replacing a pre-existing one, or let's say you replace pre-existing map, or but you add like more rooms to it, then file size optimizer tool won't adjust. Then file size optimizer tool won't add that new custom map and its files, or the custom or the new room files, to the file size list.txt. So what you have to do, and they mentioned this in the GitHub of File Size Optimizer, by the way, in the README. So what you would have to do probably, I didn't test myself, by the way, but it should work. What you'd want to do is go to open file size list.txt in a hex editor, and add the appropriate file with appropriate name, and then and etc. And you can just and then for the file size value, you can just put like any gibberish number in there, and then you can run file size optimizer tool after you add the file in file size list.txt and decompress size list.txt. Then you can run file size optimizer tool, and it should then adjust the value properly. That is if you want to add a completely new map or completely new room that doesn't replace a pre-existing room. if you're replacing a map or replacing pre-existing rooms, then you don't have to worry about text editing or whatever. You can just run file size optimizer. But if you're adding completely new maps that don't replace pre-existing maps, and yeah, you'll probably have to do that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and bye.